Hi, I'm Laura Gehl, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to you today, even though we can't all be together for the book festival. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the inspiration behind some of my newer books. And I'm going to start with this book, which is called Always Looking Up. And it is the story of an astronomer named Dr. Nancy Grace Roman. And Nancy Grace wanted to be an astronomer at a time when girls were very much discouraged from pursuing careers in math and science. But Nancy Grace persisted, and she did become an astronomer, and not only that, she was the first chief of NASA's astronomy program, and she became known as the mother of the Hubble Space Telescope. So I got the idea for this book from my friend Steve, who works for NASA. He said to me, "You should write a book about Dr. Nancy Grace Roman." And I had never even heard of her. So I went home and I read everything I could find, and it was very clear to me that Steve was right, that Nancy Grace was an amazing person who absolutely should have a book written about her. And I was so lucky because I was able to meet her and interview her, and she answered all my questions. She showed me her childhood photographs. She showed me all of her old schoolwork. She had all of her perfect score math tests. She had her essays that she had written even as a kid about the moon and about Galileo. So this book was very hard to write. It was my first biography, and writing nonfiction is very different from writing fiction, but it was such an incredible experience. And I want to show you something really cool. This is a Lego minifigure of Dr. Roman. And so if you weren't already convinced that she was an important and inspirational person, whoops, I just broke the Hubble Space Telescope here, but surely the fact that Lego made a minifigure out of her is enough proof that she was an incredible person, and I hope that this helps inspire you to read about her and learn more. So if you have younger kids at home who you want to expose to science, I also have a new series of board books called the Baby Scientist series, and there are 4 books in the series: Baby Oceanographer, Baby Botanist, Baby Paleontologist, and Baby Astronaut. And people who know my picture books like One Big Pair of Underwear and the Peep and Egg series often don't know that I actually came to writing children's books from a science background. And I came up with the idea for this series because there are just so many directions you can go in as a scientist. You know, so many areas of science: seismology and volcanology and geology and neurobiology, which was actually my area of study. And I like the idea of helping kids reframe the question from "could I be a scientist?" to "what kind of scientist do I want to be?" And so I'm super proud of this series that lets kids explore different areas of science. And this one was the most fun to work on because I got to read about all the actual science experiments that astronauts have done up in space and choose some to put into this book. The last book that I want to talk about today is called The Ninja Club Sleepover. And this book is about a little werewolf named Willa. And Willa's 2 best friends do not know she's a werewolf. And she gets invited to a sleepover on the night of a full moon. And so Willa is scared she's going to turn into a werewolf at the sleepover, and then her friends won't like her anymore. So when I wrote the first draft of this story, it was about acceptance and friendship, with the idea being that, of course, Willa's friends still do like her when they find out that she's a werewolf. But as the story evolved, I ended up giving the 2 friends deep, dark secrets as well. And I won't tell you what those are, but you can kind of see hints here on the cover with this butterfly and with this bat. And so it still is a story of friendship and acceptance, but it's also a story about how all of us are weird in our own ways, and how everyone kind of feels like they have a secret they wouldn't want other people to know. So thank you so much for chatting with me today, and I hope that you find lots of great books to read during this time of isolation, and that we get to see each other at the festival next year in person.